15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. We have a liftoff.
Armstrong is on the moon. Neil Armstrong, 38-year-old American, standing on the surface of the moon.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Beautiful view. Isn't that something? Magnificent sight out here. Magnificent desolation.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see from the thumbnail and the title of this is my 500 subscriber special. I don't know how we got here, but we got here. So thank you very much to everyone that subscribed, and please carry on. Now, as I promised, I have a special review for you today. Now, this isn't my watch and it has been lent to me for this review. I have to give a really special thank you to my boss, Steve. I know he's going to be watching this. He likes to watch and critique me. Yeah. So, Steve, thank you so much for lending me this watch to review, and thank you for all the help and recommendations that you've given me while I've been reviewing watches. Yeah, thanks. I mean, I don't think I've ever had a boss before that lent me a Speedmaster. It's way out of our usual realm of affordable watches. Today I am reviewing one of my ultimate Grail pieces. I've always said if I could only have one watch, it would be a Speedmaster. The Omega Speedmaster Moonwatch is just the ultimate for me. It really is. It's got tons and tons of history and heritage, and I think that's what I enjoy about it most. It beat off the likes of Rolex, Breitling, Longines to become NASA's Moonwatch. First watch on the moon. Now, you may think the first watch on the moon was worn by the first man on the moon. It wasn't. Neil Armstrong opted not to wear his watch on his first spacewalk. Buzz Aldrin, however, decided that he was going to wear his Speedy. Asked about it in a later interview, he said, "I'm a watch guy. I wanted to wear my watch." How perfect's that? It's also marked its place in some of NASA's most scary moments, to be honest. On the Apollo 13 mission, everything went wrong. They lost pretty much every sort of function that they had, and it was all manual from there. And that meant they had no digital timers, no digital clocks. They only had their Speedmasters. So when they were asked to perform a 14-second burn to realign themselves to come back into the atmosphere, they had to time it on their Speedmaster's chronograph. They timed it perfectly, avoided even more disaster, and came home safely. So this watch really does have a special place in NASA's history, as well as the world's horological history, which is weird because this watch wasn't designed for space. It was designed for racing cars, racing drivers. Crazy, right? Crazy. And it ended up going into space. Now, enough of Jason's story time. My name's Jason. I'm your watch guy today. Let's turn this camera around and get into this review. Here it is, guys. This is the Omega Speedmaster Professional. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, this isn't my watch. It's my boss's. Again, Steve, thank you so much for lending me this watch. I wouldn't have been able to get something like this on the channel without his help. Now, the funny story about this is that Steve isn't actually a watch guy. When I first met him about a year ago, I asked him about watches and he said, "No, don't like them. Don't like things on my wrist." After about a year of me berating them with watch knowledge and talking to him about things I really didn't seem to care about, he said to me just after lockdown, "I think I'm going to buy a watch. What would you recommend?" I said, "Well, what do you like?" He said, "I like the ones with the little faces inside the face." Right, so you like chronographs. Now, I didn't know what his budget was, and I don't think he expected to spend £4,000 on a watch. But when someone talks to me about chronographs, the first one that comes to mind is the Omega Speedmaster. And I think it's probably the same way for most watch guys. So I thought, you know what, I'll show him the absolute pinnacle of what he could get, and we'll work backwards from that. I showed him it, he told me how much he loved it, and about half an hour later, I caught him ordering one. That just shows the type of demographic that this watch attracts. It's a converter. It's absolutely gorgeous, as well as being probably one of the most functional precise and brilliantly built timepieces on the market. Now I'm going to zoom in and we're going to talk about the dimensions. So this watch in diameter from this side of the bezel to the other side of the bezel is 40 millimeters. The case is 42 millimeters. It measured on my calipers as 14.5 millimeters thick. Now that obviously includes this lovely domed piece of Hesalite and the caseback. Lug width is 20 millimeters, which plays to this watch's ability to be an absolute strap monster. It looks good in so many different ways. Lug to lug, this comes in at 47.4 millimeters, and I think that makes it a very wearable watch for guys of multiple different sizes. Steve has much bigger wrists than me, and it fits in perfectly. I have really thin 6.2 inch wrist, and it still fits to my wrist lovely. Now this is packed with Omega's in-house 1863 caliber movement. There's a hand winding chronograph movement. I've just set this chronograph off for you to show you how amazing the sweep is on it. You can just see how much absolute quality is built into this watch just from first sight. It's like nothing I have ever had on this channel before. And the best part, this little click back. That is so precise and so effortless. It's amazing. So visually, this watch hasn't really been changed since the 1969 Moonwatch, and you can see why. It's got a vintage look, I get that, but it's also so minimalist and modern. It works in the modern day too. I think the design of this watch is one of the most perfect pieces that I've seen on the market. We have a very lovely domed piece of Hesalite. Now you might think that I should have a sapphire crystal. You can get these with sapphire crystals, but the actual Moonwatch, many collectors would argue, should have Hesalite. It's what you would have had in the 1969 Moonwatch. I get that school of thought. If you did want a sapphire crystal version, they are available. I think they come in about £700 more maybe, something around that range. It is a good chunk extra. You have a really nice thin tachymeter bezel. That's a fixed bezel obviously. The numerals around the bezel have a really nice stainless steel finish. Now around the case we have a mixture of brushed and high polish finishes. As you can see, the curves on this watch are absolutely gorgeous. It's a very well designed case. I love the cutout and the machine look to this case. I think the curves on it just add so much to it, and it really flows with the design of the watch. Obviously, as you'd expect, the brushing on this watch is perfect. It's brilliant. Now, it's not a screw down crown. It is simply a pull out crown. First pull changes the time. It is a manual wind watch, so that will wind your watch. And I think it's advised that you do that for 10 turns every morning to keep this running at the right accuracy. It is a nice signed crown, and it's accompanied by these two pushers. The pushers also have really nice quality to them. Like you can feel that they're built well. Just reset that. Now, although we don't have a screw down crown, we do have a screw down caseback. And this caseback is actually really, really nice. As you can see, it has the Omega logo in the middle with the Speedmaster print on top. And it's engraved on the back, flight qualified by NASA for all manned space missions. The first watch worn on the moon. As I said in the intro, worn by Buzz Aldrin on his first moonwalk. On the bottom around the edge in here, professional moonwatch. Absolutely amazing piece. I'm in absolute awe of this, if I'm honest. So that is a screw down stainless steel caseback. Now as we move into the dial of this watch, you can see that it is a lovely matte black dial, almost grey on close inspection. Absolutely lovely flat dial. It does seem to have a curvature type of effect to it as you look through that domed Hesalite crystal. It's probably one of the nicest displays on a watch on the market today, and it fits a lot of different preferences. I feel like it is a complicated dial, but it's also so simplistic. It has such a nice subtle tone with that black and white feature. Now it has Omega Speedmaster Professional proudly printed at the 12 o'clock position We have 3 sub-dials at the 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock positions, very nicely aligned to this dial. This whole dial is printed, including the indices, the minute markers, the nanosecond markers, the Amiga logo, Speedmaster logo, professional logo, all down to this little Swiss-made logo at the bottom of the dial. They're all printed in a nice, elegant white, which really does match very well with this black dial and makes this watch super legible. The minute markers and the hands are lit in a very nice, substantial lume. It's super luminova on this watch, and it really does stand out. I will insert a lume shot just here for you, so you can see that lume. Absolutely amazing lume on this one, and I'd expect nothing less from Amiga. The 12 o'clock indice is marked by 2 little pips either side of it, highlighting the simplistic yet well thought out dial design that we have here. And that was always, for some reason, one of the first things I noticed about these dials, and it's a feature that I really do love. The long arrowhead chronograph second hand reaches straight out to the edge of the dial and onto the edge of the minute track, which creates this amazing sweeping effect around the dial as the chronograph is in action. Just stop that there and click it straight back. I'll just zoom in for you so you can see. It reaches straight to the edge of that dial, which I think is a really lovely effect. The minute hand comes slightly shorter and just passes the hour marker indices of this dial. Again, the hour hand is shorter than that and misses the edges of the hour markers. Both hands in a long baton or even pencil styling, which gives this a very nice, elegant and even vintage look to it. Now this watch sits on a lovely stainless steel oyster style bracelet. It has a brushed finish on the outer links, a brushed finish down the centre of the middle links, and each middle link is highlighted with a pinstripe of high polish, which again is a lovely outlining feature of these Speedmaster bracelets. We have solid end links as you would expect from this watch, and that comes with a protruding mid link. Now we have a double push clasp with the Amiga logo engraved on it, Speedmaster Professional below it. As I open this up, you can see that is a milled clasp, and it's got a really lovely quality build to it. Like, you know that this is well built, and it's a part of why this watch is worth such a substantial amount. I think every part of it is just built so well. Now as we come to the end of this review, you're obviously expecting my moan section, and there's a few things I could throw out there. That Hess-like crystal is super prone to scratching, even if you don't use the right cloth on it, but that's easily maintained by a little bit of polywatch. And the Hess-like crystal is correct to the Moonwatch itself, so I don't think I can knock it for that. The other downside probably being that not many people can afford this watch. It's a £4,000 watch, but personally, I think this watch is worth every single penny of that £4,000. So guys, this has been my review of the Amiga Speedmaster Professional. This is one of my absolute dream watches, but unfortunately it will be going back to Steve tomorrow. He's been really generous in letting me lend this for this review, so again, Steve, thank you so much for this. I think this has been a really nice switch up for the channel. Unfortunately, we'll probably be back to AliExpress watches next week. Again guys, thank you for helping me hit that milestone, and hopefully the channel's just going to keep growing from here. If you've liked this video, please subscribe. I'll have more content out soon. Otherwise, my name's Jason, and I've been your watch guy today. I'll see you in the next one.